appears to have the same digits, numbers, everything?
I didn't look that closely,
Oh, okay.
but it looked like they were, it appeared different than it did before. And I'm like, oh, this looks like it's the same thing. Well, I'm completely dark. I'm just the light behind me.
I'm like walking way too fast. I'm like about
Oh,
to
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Hey, Toby.
How are you doing, Joseph?
Hi, Joseph.
Doing well. Hi, Kathleen.
How are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
It's been a long time.
It has. Just smell this place brings back memories. It's been too long. Hi, Doug.
Good.
How's it going, Joseph?
It's going well. Did I get the timer out here? You want to make use of that or
What?
the timer?
Sure, please. You know, I walk into Thrive right now without flashing anything. You know, the door key or a badge or,
Yeah.
I mean, they recognize me, but there's no accounting of me coming and going. That I can tell.
Well, I think you're supposed to do it yourself. There's the little key fob you have with
Right.
your barcode, and then there's a reader at the counter, and you just flash it by
I tried
yourself.
that. Does it register for you? Okay. Try again.
So, everybody but the person at the lectern will be able to see the rest of the club. Is the idea. In other words, right here on the TV.
Okay. But the person at the lectern just has to turn around.
If they do, yeah.
Like, well, obviously,
But they
the person
wouldn't
at the
be,
lectern can see here people, but they'll be able to do this and see.
they would be able to see them, but to address them would be here, because that's them.
Oh,
Right, because you're looking
Okay,
at the
got
keyboard.
it, okay. And then, all right,
They're like another person sitting at the
yeah,
table.
yeah.
What I've seen kind of sarcastic people do online is make a little mannequin head, so it's a little more personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the webcam inside
Where should I put the timer? It's probably up there on the table. That's the webcam.
I'm gonna make a bunch of stands that are bottom
Oh,
head.
you've got one there too.
Oh, where do you want it to?
Probably right here's best. Everyone can see it, and that's the center camera.
Okay. I will watch one step, my goodness. Yep, possible travel around the other side.
This is the speaker that one of,
The one thing I didn't plan for whatever reason, was maybe a 4-foot extension cord to bring those speakers up.
oh, okay.
See the power cord. Oh, yeah. That was the only thing I didn't measure for.
That's an easy fix.
record yours,
Yes, that's going to duplicate this display on there, so everybody can be seen.
Okay. You couldn't, is this,
It's the same type of cord, this one's 15 feet.
okay, all right, good.
I haven't heard from Jim, Joseph. So, but he's pretty good at just picking up a speech off the top of his head.
Okay.
So,
I was the evaluator for, it wasn't Jim, it was the second speaker.
oh, I thought VV was
I'm
first.
for Jim.
Oh, you're for
No,
Jim.
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
for Vivi, I'm for Vivi.
I thought so.
And
So Jim has a speech, but you're going to be timer two?
Yep, yes, I can fully roll.
Thank you.
And,
Ryan.
Doug, one thing really, if you're actually on the internet, on Zoom, on your laptop, there's no harm in other members sitting here with their computer and broadcasting themselves. They'll just show up as another pane, another user.
Right.
So yeah, no problem.
When you log in right now, but your laptop's going to project here.
Right, and then I'll be the one, it's kind of an active position sitting here, because I'll be going between this camera for when you're speaking,
Yeah.
and this camera, I'll be switching the cameras back. So this one will be
That
video
one?
speaker,
And that one.
will be
Got it.
video, but
Okay.
For like.
So they're not simultaneous.
We would have to sign up for Zoom Rooms, which is $40 a month.
Okay.
Simultaneous.
So we need somebody to know when you can't be here, someone is,
I'm gonna write
okay?
a nice little couple
Good.
page PDF.
Okay.
And again, if it's too tedious, then we'll figure out like an easy way for people that don't like to do that to just set it up and let it. I'm not sure why it's showing this.
I don't want to do it right now, but then the time comes for formatting. Jeez. Kathy Yankee has the most problem
There we go.
when I set out the links. I don't know why.
Kathleen, did you say you were evaluator for Jim?
Vivi.
Vivi.
He told an incredible story last
did?
week. Yeah.
This is a part two then?
Yeah. This is part 3.
Oh, I see.
And I remember
Jumping on my line.
Mikhail did a part 2 to his icebreaker.
Mhm.
Vivi's doing a part 3. He told a story about how his mom really wanted a girl instead of a boy. So he dressed him as a girl, not just when he was a baby. He was older too.
Wow.
They had pictures too. And how old was he? Do you remember? Like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
They wore just a baby and like, look. Incredible thing to share with us.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Very good. Where's he from? Is he from
India?
But he lives in California now. right?
Correct. San Diego, this end, which is New San Diego.
So is Kathy trying to join you?
So did you just put it on that I sent out?
And where do you need on it?
You don't see me. I like this.
Oh, you're signing into.
Yeah. Okay.
Right now, I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I don't understand how she's not able to do it. Right. Okay.
Joseph. How can we?
I'm just telling her to come to Village Pizza.
Does she live here in town?
She does. Yeah.
The one thing that will be issued from the having other members of the laptop will be feedback.
Wow. Turn on the audio on.
Have it up high too.
Process, we'll get it now.
I do love that this is like, for a huge client, you know, practice. Yeah, all right, we got the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now we don't need so much stealing.
Good. Next to that, you should go to a chiropractor or just
No.
time.
My sister shares the same issue. And it's our lower vertebrae slips out to the side. And we can't support our top for a day. And to reverse that, you do a slight Superman. And it's not, you don't lift your legs, but you just go like this.
Yeah.
And for 15 seconds, you feel that thing slide right back
Oh
in,
my gosh.
and all the pain disappears.
Right.
You have to do that about every 15 minutes for a day.
Yeah, unpredictable, is it frequent?
Yes.
It's just.
We met with Sherlock Holmes here on Monday night.
I did, I know, every night.
Okay, all right. Well, I wanted to make sure we were on the calendar.
Hey,
Okay.
Forward, I think we had it taken off the list. How many
Alright.
people on the table arrangement, no good?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is perfect.
Is it?
There were
I went to a
two of
chiropractor.
us, and then I had my laptop with some understanding.
Okay.
There were agents here in person.
Yeah, the one yard.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a start.
yeah, it is. And so we'll be every Monday, every first Monday.
That's what I actually need
Yep,
someone.
every first Monday, I'll make sure that's on the calendar.
Okay. Okay. that's
They were
no
on
problem.
Florida, they.
No, they did fine. Everything worked out well.
And
Yeah, okay,
my
thanks.
upper body goes this way and my lower body goes the other direction and I back and
Oh,
forth. But for all the world, I cannot do it myself. I have tried doing what you're doing, like, I'll just myself into a pretzel trying to realign myself, and I just can't do it.
Slips out. You can, if I'm shirtless, you can see my belly button's tilted that way, right? And then the left hip is up. My whole body's just like this.
Oh, God.
Yeah, just a little slip.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
after these
That's
little
dramatic.
Supermans, it's just like, it's crazy.
If I look in the mirror, I can see that my knees aren't aligned. That's okay, yeah. But nothing like what you're describing. That's funny. He's there, the tail is.
Where's the input of these? Where your laptop? Or did these have these speakers?
Oh, wow.
I also have those MTL speakers.
Oh, okay. Wow. Old surrounds.
But the problem is, I can't, it's all manual unless it's
Yeah.
in the room, right?
Hello, guys.
I think not.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi, Nina, how are you?
Said you still alive, huh?
I'm still alive, yes.
Well, good. Gee, haven't seen you a long time. Wow. Hi, Bibi. Mikhail, why do you have
Looks like more technology, more features, more confusion.
and dog? Why do we have two screens of the pizza place?
Yeah, I could see the pizza place, but I don't see any pizzas there.
Who's there? I know Toby,
I
Joseph,
saw dog
Catherine,
there.
Doug.
So,
Oh, yeah, you did. So.
Hey, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you see this?
Yeah.
yep,
Hi, doctor.
This is great.
it looks nice. So it's a large space.
Hello, Dr. Howard.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. It's still good morning.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just past 12.
So, leftover. It's like a building that way on the face.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Either present it on your phone or your computer.
You can do it online, too.
Well, I have my.
Oh, you do that?
Do it straight as a same user.
Okay, so I should log on.
Yes.
Great pizzas.
I think there's an explanation.
Check. No, no, I got on mute, so there's no harm in me running my laptop right now. It's just another observer.
It's going well.
It's gonna be 2021 so far. We're just in its process right now. My folks are, they've got a, it's not an office building, but it's a little side house that I'm in. And we just got an offer on the place yesterday. So it's not sold yet, but we're kind of in the phase now of making that transition, moving on to holding it. Hopefully it's some kind of office building that like make themselves. So it's kind of a scary time, but it's it's a welcome change. You do. It is where the Dells are. It's got roughly an hour north of support lines. It's down there south on 7-1. Correct.
Oh, you are awfully dark. Doug,
Yeah, you ready?
can you put yourself towards the light?
Oh, you don't need to, don't bother me.
Oh,
Just introduce, we'll open the meeting and introduce me and I'll go back up to the lectern.
oh, okay. Okay. But now I see. Okay. The gym. We are missing many people. John's not here. Tina, John, Matt, Tom. Okay, let's start April 2nd Dockers Toastmasters meeting. Okay, let's turn over this meeting to our president, Doug Vandegraft.
Rena, welcome fellow doctors. It's April 8th, 2021, and April 8th is National Vandegraft Day. It is my birthday, and It's a wonderful gift to be back here at Village Pizza with Dr. See you in at least 4 of you in person. It's a great way to start something. So, birthdays are good things. It's stressful to other people. Some people don't like to celebrate their birthdays, and particularly I think when they get older, they don't want to have anything to do with birthdays. I'm the opposite. I love birthdays. I love celebrating everybody else's birthday, my birthday, of course. We're having friends come in from Alaska tonight. We're going to go to Nelthorne in Lebanon, which is one of my favorite restaurants. So looking forward to that. Let's talk about birthdays. First, Tiari, do you have a word for the day?
Toastmaster, did you call on me?
I did. Dr. Howard?
I could barely hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know what? Your voice is not real clear, Doug.
Am I talking to this? Is it clear?
No, that's not a.
It's better.
Face the screen.
No.
Dr. Howard, do you have a word of the day?
Word of the day,
Yes.
plethora.
Oh, yeah, plethora.
Plethora. To use it in a sentence, I have a plethora of goals, ideas, and aspirations that I hope to accomplish in 2021. Plethora.
Thank you. So, do you have something to say about birthdays or something to say about plethora? Please do so, beginning with the lady on my left.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. We have a plethora of days that we celebrate as we have gotten older. We, meaning me and my husband. We don't just celebrate our annual birthdays. We celebrate the day we were born every month. So, born on the 7th. He was born on the 11th. We take it to an extreme. One of our dogs was born on the 2nd. Another one was born on the 6th. And our anniversary, on the 7th, our anniversary is on the 6th. So we have all these days that all kind of come together that we celebrate. We celebrate with a dessert or a dessert and a beer or whatever. But anyway, after these days of celebration are finished, I think I put on like 2 or 3 pounds. Then I had the rest of the month to get it off.
There you go.
So yeah, we have a good time with birthdays.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Jim?
Well, I have a new house and it has a big yard. It's a house on 3 acres. Part of which is wooded, but I have a plethora of opportunities of things to do outside the house. We finished inside of the house. And I'm looking forward to the spring and summer of making the yard as beautiful as it can be.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Good to see you. We're talking about birthdays and word of the day is plethora.
Yes, I haven't had many plethora birthdays, but I talked a little bit more about my joke story inspirational moment. But I do have to say that last year's birthday kind of stank because it was in April during the major shutdown. So hopefully this year will be better.
Definitely. Thank you. Joseph, good to see you again.
Likewise, thank you, Toastmaster. The only thing that comes to mind with the word plethora was the fact that for I believe it was my 17th or 18th birthday a couple of years ago, my grandmother had bought me a box of vocabulary words. And I remember I took it upon myself for that year I was going to learn one new word every single month and try to utilize that at least once per day in my day-to-day conversations. And the very, very first word that I pulled out was the word plethora. So that has a very special meaning to me. I started with the P's, and it's one of my favorite words, honestly.
Very good. Thank you. Toby?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster. I'm going to try that.
Found somebody else for a second?
No, I just put myself up. on
Oh,
the
yeah.
camera.
All right. I see. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, and remote and in-person members. plethora of things that I feel that are going on right now is that here I'm gonna point the whole rest of the club at this. We have a jungle of wires going through here. So I'm dealing with a plethora of wires as our first attempt at in-person hybrid meeting. I hope we can get it smoothly. As Joseph said, it's a process. We have to figure it out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are you guys able to hear us?
You know what, actually, it's not real clear.
Yeah, I'm
I
getting,
think
I'm getting a
that,
bit of an echo.
You have an echo too, okay.
When you, Toby, when you do the review of this tape, you'll see the echo sound we're experiencing. And so it's causing us to have to adjust to listen clear to what's being said there. So I'm sorry for interrupting, but we have a plethora of issues to work out as we move forward with this new hybrid model.
Okay, let's continue and with introductions. Vivi?
Good morning, Toastmasters. I have always had plethora of ideas to implement, but I feel like I'm stuck in with two hands and one mind to think, not multitasking. You know, that's always a challenge for me. On top of that, my son is adding up enough distraction for me to hold on myself. So I have to go for plethora of ideas now to implore and explore both. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Mikhail?
Yes, for my second time. Thank you for that, and it looks great. I heard somebody say earlier, I think it was Vivi, there's no pizzas. Well, they're preparing everything now. It'll show up later. And I miss it, guys. I sure wish I could be there with you. But there are, as you said, what a great day. Happy birthday, Doug. This will be an excellent day for us to mark going forward how we may improve this process of the multitasking and the plethora of issues for us to work out so it's a smooth meeting for all. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't know if you saw that. I bought a small pizza. Can you see that, sort of?
Yeah, we can see the box from here, from the other camera. Yeah.
Okay. Nina.
yes, thank you, Mr. Toastmasters. For birthday, usually for years, my birthday was like my husband's birthday because he loves to go out and eat. So he'll pick the restaurant of his choice and then we go out, celebrate together. But sometimes I feel like, you know what? I enjoy that, but I think I should enjoy more than what than my husband does on my birthday outings. But this year's my birthday, my friend, she remembered my birthday and she came to my house with plethora of things. I haven't had my birthday with crown and balloons and gifts, and she brought all different kinds of Thai food and Thai tea and ice cream and balloons, gifts and cake, small cake, and with my and also tiara for birthday. So it was a really blessed this year's birthday celebration of me, and I hope and I enjoyed so much that especially the tiara on my hair. So from next year, I'm really planning to do more fun things on my birthday. Thank you, Mr. Toastmasters.
I can imagine a tiara on your head.
I was like princess.
Very good. Shari, Dr. Howard.
I heard the Dr. Howard. Can you fill me in, Mr. Toastmaster? Because I'm having still that echo problem.
Talking about just introductions, and you can say something about your feeling about birthdays, or possibly use the word of the day, plethora.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm excited that today is your birthday. I don't normally like to talk about my birthdays because I'm getting older and older. maturing in grace. Secondly, I do like to celebrate other people's birthdays, especially when they have hot pizza around. So I'm particularly fond of pizza. So thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Very good. And I haven't had a piece yet, but I had the pepperoni sausage and anchovy pizza for my birthday, waiting for me. I'll probably have to use a piece in just a few minutes. Okay, as you all know, I'm Toastmaster today. And we have two speakers. BB will give part 3 of his icebreaker speech. And Kim will have a speech. A PowerPoint, I think. Kale's big topics, general evaluators Toby, you got evaluators, Joseph will be evaluating Jim, and Kevin will be evaluating BB. Joseph is our timer. Looks like we might have 2 timers. BB, are you? Okay, no, look, we're just gonna use Joseph. Can you guys see? Can you see the lights? Oh. I think, I can see them when they're off. Or if you turn them on, I can't see them, but yeah, it just kind of away. BB, did you get your, speaking to the camera, you use that anytime, so.
I couldn't hear clearly what you said, Doug. Do you mind repeating?
I know you were working on your timing mechanism. You had a separate screen and a separate screen that showed a digital display at the time. And I don't think you guys will be able to see Joseph giving times. So I was thinking to myself, oh, Vivi can do the timing, but you're speaking, you're about to give a speech. So we have timing cards.
Look at BB's kiosk in front of it.
Right. You can time yourself. Are you comfortable with that, Vivi? Timing yourself? From you?
VV,
Yes, today I'm going to time myself. Once I am confident of that, then I am going to expand it to everyone's use. So
Okay.
I can be like volunteer.
Are you comfortable timing yourself this afternoon?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, well, we're gonna go with that then. Okay. So I'll introduce our first speaker, BB. Those are the initials of his first name. And he has given us 2 very interesting icebreaker speeches so far. I'm not quite sure that I remember this one at part 3 of the icebreaker speech. But BB does. And he calls his icebreaker Journey of My Life Through Space and Time. So time scored 6 minutes. This is part 3 of this icebreaker speech. Please help me welcome BB.
Good morning, Toastmasters. My journey is a very unique journey because I am experiencing many dimensions to that. Today's topic is coming to Americas. There is a word I used, S extra to America. After coming to America, I know this is America. But from India, coming to a Western side, we talk about Americas. It is still a taboo issue. They think that South America, North America, we don't differentiate anymore. It is Americas. Dramatic events took place. What made me to come to America? I read a poem by Robert Frost, who was born in 1824. It's a very intriguing poem, and it caught my mind in a very early ages. I'm going to read for you the poem so I can actually get into the essence of it. It says, stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods? These I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with the snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without farmhouse near, between the woods and the frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have a promise to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. I truly implemented that in my whole life. I thought every mile I am going away from my little village I was born, I had to do great deal of stuff to achieve. So every mile is a milestone for me, not just a physical mile. And in doing that process, I was in engineering that time. I had to move from southern part of India to northern part of India because 23 years and above are not allowed to do a engineering undergraduation in South. There is a stipulation rule. Even now it goes there. I don't know why. They don't want people to become wise when they are old enough. Only younger people are allowed in the engineering. So I had to move to northern part of India. And I had a problem. Before getting into computer engineering, I was working as an established programmer, like a nerd, 5 years almost. So we had a clash of titans with all the professors all the time. They say something, I objected with my experience, and it's always not a pleasant interaction. So as a rebel, I had head on with my head of the department too. It's always a clash. Then a final situation came where I had to do my engineering project. Nobody want to be my project partners because they know I'm complicated. They don't want to be part of my complication. Second thing is I'm controversial. I'm in the radar of everybody, so they don't want to be around me. Finally, I convinced two guys who are not a regular stream of kids, but who have some extra qualification before coming to engineering. They said, okay, we trust you and we make a pact with you. So when we go in front of the professors, you go in the front, we are behind you. So you're going to protect us. Other things we will do ourselves outside. And the head of the department was so mad on us, he wanted to crush whenever he get a chance. Well, it is personal things come into the question there in the education field. It is very common bureaucratic process. So I had to choose a project which is beyond their heads so that they cannot control me and I will have control over what I do. Well, I suggested a project. It's called Biological Object User Interface. It's basically turning over Jurassic Park technology where they made one dinosaur using a supercomputer. I want to do it with the PC. Well, we rewrote that whole program in PC, personal computer, in a matter of 500 man-hours. And we gave multiple textures to that. Nobody has done that so far because you see the Jurassic Park movie and a Flubber movie, they are single textures. Nobody has come closer to what we did. We could not gain any commercial aspect of it because it's a part of the university project. So all the educators, they said, no, it belongs to, it's a property of the university. You cannot use commercially outside. You have no rights. Fine. Then came to a question, what I have to do to achieve that as a goal. Well, people say only smart people can achieve the goal. It's not true. The reason is, if you go into specifics of SMART, S is for specific, M is for measurable, A for action-oriented, R for realistic, T for timely. None of this applicable to me when I succeeded the great milestone of my life, coming to America. It all started with a nerd activity. there was an advertiser who was making most advertisements of cosmetics in the country of 1.2 billion people. So it's a big industry because lot of women there. So generally a lot of cosmetics, lot of advertisements. They were working on Silicon Graphics workstations those days. They bought a software called 3D Studio Max those days. 150,000 US dollars cost from Singapore. And somehow they came to know about little nerds in the college. We were in the second year that time, that these guys can do something for you. So pull them out of the college for a few days. So me and I had one nerd friend with me. They said, okay, can you break this software? Because we want to have 2 copies of that, and I cannot use that on the other computer because it came with a hardware lock. Well, we said, okay, we'll do it. Just academic interest. We are always interested in doing those. On the 5th day, we broke it. And they offered us money. We said, no, we didn't work for money. We are just academic interest. But I said, I had something to ask for. I said, go ahead. I said, can I have a copy of that, please? They gave me a software where no normal person can have it in the country, 150,000 US dollar software. A copy I have, which is broken code. And I wrote a plugin for that software. That is what is biological object user interface. The basic simple things. We know all animation is something like number of frames per second. You move it, they appeal like there is a motion. When you slow down the frame rate, they look jerky like animation. But in real life animation, it's not the same. Look at our muzzle. We have some volume of the muzzle. We deform the muzzle by stretching it or compressing it. The volume will never change, but only the shape changes. That is the principle. We brought it into that. And I got the national awards, IEEE national awards for that. And finally, it happened that so much of bureaucracy I faced in the country, I just can't deal with that anymore. I want to go to a freedom world where go to a no man's land, grow from there, having freedom. That's the only thing in my mind. So my dad was a veterinary surgeon. By that time, he was retired. I asked him, I want to go to America. He said, okay. On the 3rd day, he came back to me. Are you serious? I said, yes. Okay, you can go ahead and do whatever is required. I'll support you. Well, I applied all the documents. In 2.5 months, I am here. And when I look back, this is what I feel. The limitations we come across are our own set limitations in our mind. The perspective of the world changes when we expand our horizon. There's a little story. A frog in a well thinks that this is the world. When it leaps into the ocean, it wonders, wow, because it can look every side. There is no end for it. But when it gets a chance to look back where it came from, it has some kind of a reflection. That's what I got it after so long distance I traveled. So always I had in my mind, it still rings for me, miles to go before I sleep. Means to me, before I go to a permanent sleep, I got a lot of things to establish. And I'm still in that process. I'm never tired. Thank you, Toastmasters. And today, apologize me in the excitement. I didn't even start my timer.
You have certainly had an interesting life, and I appreciate you sharing that. Your experience and how you tied it together with the Robert Frost poem and then that last analogy about the frog, that was very good. And I'm glad you're here in America. Matt, you ready with your joke slash inspiration moment?
Do I stay here or?
It's up to you, man. Whatever you want to do. That's what come up. Exactly. Please help me welcome Matt.
fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'm going to be my honored guests. I'm keeping my mask on because I work later and will be exposed to a lot of people, so it's probably best to just keep it on. Now, earlier in the meeting, I said how I was going to talk about my birthday, and it happens to be this month as well, on the 20th. And it's one of those things when you grow up and realize, wow, a lot of crap that essentially happened on my birthday. For starters, Adolf Hitler was born. No joke. Now, remember back in 2010 when there was that big, huge oil explosion and gas was leaking into the Pacific Ocean. It was a big environmental disaster. It happened on April 20th. And of course, there is the infamous 420, the big cannabis holiday. For whatever reason, it is dedicated to 420. And here I will mention the irony is that I don't smoke weed. So I have to remain positive on these days and just kind of think in my head that I really hope it's not an omen of things to come or odd, peculiar things, and just consider it as a birthday. With that, Mr. Toastmaster.
Very good, Matt. If you watch the History Channel at all, it seems like they talk about the death of Hitler, a lot about the death of Hitler, never about the birth of Hitler. So that was interesting. Thank you. Our second speaker is one of our, I think, one of the original members, founding members of this club. Jim, will you just be doing that from there, from where you're sitting?
Yeah, I'm going to try it from here.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a title?
Moments.
Moments.
Yes,
In 5 to 7 minutes?
I'm hoping so.
Very good. Please
I'm
help me
gonna
welcome
try
Jim.
sharing my screen.
Okay.
So does somebody do some magic? We get a message that says host disabled participant screen sharing.
I believe you just click on the little, I think it's the share. Is there a little, like there's a little arrow there?
Post disabled. Oh, Doug,
Who's Doug for those?
What do I need to do? Thank you.
Are we seeing something? I'm seeing something different than my screen.
Can we see your screen?
Yeah, that's the base, and I'm doing a show off of that. Well, if you look up in the picture to the right, I'm not sure why I'm. In our workaday world, we often
get caught up in things that don't add a lot of pleasure to our life. As you can see the fine print and the wording up there, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. The picture that you'll see move across this screen as the highlight, it's a sunrise at sea, followed by the top of a reef in northern Vancouver Island, in the chilly waters off of Vancouver Island. In these waters, you'll find undersea cliffs that plunge down for hundreds and hundreds of feet, where you can cruise as a visitor to the undersea world, full of beautiful colors. And one of the more remarkable creatures in the world, a giant Pacific octopus. This guy was approximately 6 feet long, just cruising along a reef, feeding. To the tiniest of creatures, nudibranch, basically a snail without a shell, maybe an inch long. So precious to look and appreciate for the moment. Or a tiny star-shaped sand-dwelling anemone peeking out of between the rocks, smaller than a dime. Or characters that float through the sea without a care, without a brain, fractions of an inch long. To a sunrise on the north shore of the Indonesian island of Bali. Walking along the shore, you'll see boats waiting for the sun to come up for the fishermen to go out to sea. Two, meeting family members, your new best friends at a park in Ubud. One of the more remarkable moments that I've ever experienced was one of 3 Westerners at a Hindu celebration of the new moon in the city of Ubud, island of Bali, Indonesia. The sounds and sights are something that I'll never forget. Or visiting with tiny residents that live off the shoreline of Indonesia. This is a mantis shrimp. I wish this could be full-size screen for you to appreciate this little guy with eyeballs that independently articulate 360 degrees in either way. Or a crab called an orangutan crab, which is just fractions of an inch long. Further to the east off of the Socorros Islands, 250 miles off the shore coast of the Baja, giant manta rays swirl and sweep around you. Just jaw-dropping moments. Close encounters with a hammerhead shark, or inches away from a pile of white-tip sharks. One of the most electrifying experiences of your lifetime might be being just several feet from a huge manta ray, looking into his eye and realizing that he was looking back and checking you out. He paused while we did this. Or just stopping time altogether. A diver saying hi to a manta ray. Closer to home, waterfowl that lives in the Pacific Northwest. Wood duck, just incredible to see what nature has brought to us. Machu Picchu in the mountains of Peru, an ancient civilization whose remnants are still there, with closest residents a baby llama there to greet you in the morning. Off the Alaska Peninsula, brown bear, the Kodiak bear, one of the largest, or the largest bear in the world, fishing for salmon. And being close enough that as the fish shakes his head, you can hear the bones breaking in the salmon. A special moment. I don't think you're seeing the video play of a stellar sea lion coming in for a close look and actually bumping the camera. And the clowns of the day, spending their time swirling around divers, bumping, biting, making friends, or as close as your own backyard in Anacortes with a baby fawn. A sunset from the water's edge, or in the water, up the Socorros Islands in Mexico, just brings it all back to life isn't measured by the number of breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away.
Thank you, Jim. This is the right time to take some of those photos. Amazing. I've been close to the Kodiak bears too, but not that close. Thank God, to hear the bones of a fish break. All right, what time is it? Is it 12:43? Do you know?
12:42.
12:42. Okay. Mikhail, do you want to try to squeeze in a couple table topics? Okay. Maybe just a couple.
Sure, not a problem.
Please help me welcome Mikhail.
First off, again, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters there and online. Happy birthday again. And I just wanted to share, I'm so glad Jim is online. Can you see it, Jim? It is the old toasty bottle of wine that Jim Ramalia bottled for me. Was it 2008 or 2009 there in Skagit Valley, Jim?
I remember.
Okay, well, by that, I want to thank you, and I'm saving it for that special occasion. My first question is for, who do we have there? Matt, there in the Village Pizza. Matt, can you feel a difference between eating there at the Village Pizza and when you were at home eating and drinking whatever it was? Do you feel different about it?
Thank you, Mikhail. And I have to say yes, because it always felt awkward doing it Zoom, because when I first did it, I thought, oh, nobody can see me doing it. And then I looked back at one of the old Zoom footages, and I can be seen doing, like, trying to discreetly eat a muffin. I'm like, and thankfully with here is that the view is all spread out and everybody's not looking at the exact same face. So I'm very grateful that I'm eating at Village Pizza. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And the next question has to do with, of course, this medium of Zooming. Part of the reason we've only got a couple minutes is because of the technicalities that's taken place throughout this first hybrid meeting with the technical people there. So my question is to Ina. You can recall the first time you gave your first speech and you were having difficulties with being heard, us hearing you, and how do you think it will be when you return to the Village Pizza with everyone else, as you've already done last week? Is there a difference?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. It'll be much different than, you know, the delivering, especially speech at home and in front of person, because it's first of all, you don't need to bother with the computer, and second of all, you really can see the whole the feeling, atmosphere, the surroundings. But at home, it's like one man show. Of course, it's one man show, but without real actual warmth of the human body around us, around me. So it's a lot different. I really prefer to be there, but you know, today I gotta go someplace right after this. So we decided to stay home and do it over the computer. Thank you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Ina, for that response. So again, we've got challenges ahead, and this is exciting, something new. And so I'll return the meeting back to our Toastmaster, Doug.
Thank you. Thank you, Mikhail. And it is really different being back here in the room. I'm enjoying it very much. But it's awesome to be able to do this too. And I think we're just, well, it's obvious we were going to get better and better at doing the hybrid meetings. Start the evaluation portion of our program. And our general evaluator today is Toby. Please help me welcome Toby.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Doug. I have a plethora of things going through my mind, and sort of the least of which is the evaluation of the meeting. It's nothing to do with electrons and chords. Our first speaker was Vivi on part 3 of his icebreaker speech. To evaluate Vivi on his third icebreaker, please help me welcome Kathleen.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. It's kind of awkward being here because Vivi's back there and you're here and I'm evaluating him, but I got to turn over. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. And Vivi, I want to say that your speeches flow so well. You show a lot of confidence. They're well structured. You tell us what you're going to talk about, and then you follow it up with examples. I really enjoy your speeches. I think they're superb. At times, I have a hard time understanding you. When you get excited about something, you seem to talk a little faster. And I don't want to miss anything you're saying because everything you say is worthwhile. So I want to commend you on that. You started off with a poem and you started off really slowly. That worked very well. And then your ending wrapped everything up, and it was a great speech. Just remember to slow down at times. And that's what I have to say. I think you did very well. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Oh, I have.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. For our second speaker, second speaker, Jim, he is being evaluated by Joseph. Please help me welcome Joseph.
So is this camera right here? Right there, okay.
Thank you, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and particularly Jim. Today we heard from Jim in his speech titled Moments, and I'm always personally so enthralled by all these travels that Jim has had in his lifetime as a diver. My father actually works for the Seattle Fire Department. He's part of the dive team there. He's been part of that for 30 years. And he's always talking about his experiences and all the different tragedies and travels during his experience as part of the diving team. But it's one thing to hear about him retrieving bodies from Lake Washington, and another to hear about the Pacific octopus or the nudibranch in Jim's travels around the world. There's three things in particular that I wish to touch upon in Jim's presentation. Two things that I think he really excelled in, and then one recommendation that I would throw his way. First of all, I think Jim really excelled in his descriptions and the immersion that he presented with each one of these locations. There were a plethora of very relatable and sensory descriptions of the particular locations or even some of the creatures that he encountered. Let me give you a few examples. He talked about sand dwelling, smaller than a dime, fractions of an inch, precious creatures, eyeballs that independently articulate in different directions. I feel at times your immersion or your experience in one particular location can only be explained to a very certain extent when you're relating that to others. I think some of the best descriptions of you giving the most accurate representation of what you went through is to make it very, very sensory. Target the eyesight or the smell, or get very practical with comparing something that is a common denominator in a lot of people's lives to give them a representation of how small or how large something may actually be. Jim did just that. I think personification was something that I also picked up, him talking about the orangutan crab and giving a little bit of an interaction there. I appreciated that. Secondly, I want to talk about Jim's pacing. Now, obviously, there was a little bit of a technical hiccup there, but I think that actually worked to Jim's advantage to some extent because he wasn't able to use the visuals as a crutch or as a full focus for the audience's attention, which I know I've certainly succumbed to in using the medium of Zoom. You have the visuals, that's where all the direction is. You can get by with some slip-ups because people are directed with their eyesight and not necessarily always tuned in with their ears. So that lack of a visual aspect of his, or at least a minimized visual aspect of Jim's presentation's focus, encouraged him to be more deliberate and precise in the sentences that he put together. The pacing was excellent, and the way that you were able to handle that difficulty was spot on. Lastly, how can we take this presentation to the next level? How can we increase it 10%? The only thing that I would suggest throwing your way is, and this is something that I always look for, is just more structure, more organization in the very beginning. I was tuned in throughout the entire duration of your presentation, but I think at times if people don't know where exactly it's going to head, they can tune out and wondering, when exactly is the conclusion of this? That wasn't the situation here, but just something for consideration. Great job, Jim. Your presentations are always so visual. I appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing the next recap of your travels wherever they may be. Thank you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Joseph. I feel that Joseph and Kathleen provide the perfect sets of concise recommendations for each of those speeches, whether they're a beginner in the club or a veteran. Moving on to our metrics for this meeting, I'd like to introduce our grammarian, Dr. Howard. Dr. Howard, have some grammarian pointers for us?
Sorry, you said, do I have what?
You have the role of grammarian. Do you have any grammatical pointers for us?
Not really. I honestly got so caught up with the two speakers today coming to America and the beautiful photos that I saw that I lost track of the whole meeting for the exception of getting involved, being in the former member of the United States Coast Guard and having some opportunities to actually do some diving and swimming. I was blown away. So I was more like a kid in a candy store. I apologize. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Howard. Ina, do you have any accounting for us?
Yes, today I kind of determined to find every word since I haven't been able to perform my role as an art counters or other, especially art counters and timers too. So today, Vivi, I think he spoke a little over 9 minutes, but really I could not hear any ahs and ahs. So I was at one point, is it reading? So that was really good. I didn't hear any of those unnecessary words in your speech. And for Matt, gotcha here. I heard like 5 us and no, I'm sorry, Matt. Oh no, you were the 0. You were 0. Yeah, you are the joke and inspiration speech. I'm talking about Jim. Jim, yes. So I heard you. I tried to count every and I heard 4 R's and 1 R. That was it. It's not that bad at all. But thank you. That was it. As my not plethora of them. Thank you, Mr. Evaluator.
Thank you, Ina. Lastly, our timer, Joseph, please.
Fellow Toastmasters, General Evaluator, we'll start with the intros. Kathleen was 45 seconds, Jim was 31, Matt 28 seconds, myself 37, Toby 28, Vivi 25, Mikhail 42 seconds, Ina 1 minute and 17, and Dr. Howard 25 seconds. For the speakers, Vivi 10 minutes and 37 seconds, and for Jim 6 minutes and 37. The 2 evaluations, myself 3 minutes and 15 seconds, Kathleen 1 minute and 33, and Matt's duration of his joke and inspiration was 42 seconds. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Joseph. We're coming in here at the end of the meeting with 2 minutes left, it looks like. Just 2 quick questions. Who was the author of the poem that Vivi recited? Doug.
Robert Frost.
Yes, very good. And another one, please describe one event that Matt described. He described a few that occurred on his birthday.
Not all of them.
Anyone? Joseph.
The birth of Adolf Hitler.
Thank you. Oh man, you're a terrible person, Matt.
That explains it.
Right. Thank you.
I couldn't hear. What was it?
It was Adolf Hitler. The
Oh,
birthday
okay.
of Adolf Hitler. Quite an awful person. Thank you very much, everybody. And with that, I'll turn our control back to our Toastmaster.
1,000 thank yous for your effort here, Toby. You've done an amazing job. And again, I have full confidence that this is just going to get better, that we're going to just get way better. I, like everybody else, could hear the echo now and then, and there's room for improvement, and it's going to happen. I have every confidence. Our meeting next week, that's the 15th. Let's see, we got Dr. Howard Tuyari is our Toastmaster, and I am speaker number 1. Matt is speaker number 2. Table topics is, it was Brian. Are you going to be here next week?
I'm counting on it.
Will you be our table topics master? Thank you. Joseph? And general evaluator is Toby again. Yeah. Okay. It is. It's an odd feeling sitting here looking at you all and realize there's faces behind me. So I know your view is you can see me like, but now, so when I'm turning this way, I'm looking at, yeah. So Something to get used to. Any final comments, questions, or anything? Share with you. Miguel?
Other people coming to this meeting will also have the ability to use their phone. So those type of technical issues.
Okay. Well, I mean, there goes the echo.
No, it's just the microphone.
Oh, that's what it is. Thank you. I think it's a good suggestion, and we don't have to wait until next Thursday to do that. If you have some comments or some notes that you made or some suggestions, just share with the rest of us between now and next Thursday, and we can discuss those prior to the meeting. So, no, I'm with Kale also. I think this was a lot of fun, and this is, like I said earlier, this great way to have my beginning of my birthday day, National Doug Van de Graaff Day. So I will go off with a smile on my face and try not to make the equation the equivalent between Matt and Adolf Hitler. It is just completely different people. So I don't have I do. Check this out.
Oh, wow.
This meeting is adjourned.
Happy birthday, Doug.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
I'll never forget your birthday ever, Matt, because I'm going to get high on your birthday every year.
And Catherine's celebrating day every month, the same day. Birthday every month, that's good.
Yeah, you get older, you get fewer.
Yeah, and then we can become like, we can get 12 years older every year, right? Okay, see you guys later.
So,
Mhm.
because